Let me come to the studio here, Sylvester Tetteh. Now, you know, I just made a certain reference. Yeah. It's part of the NDC's concern. I don't know if he has addressed it to my audience now, but I don't know whether you are also not concerned about that they are going to district, centers to register, not their polling stations, not their electoral areas, and so on. The NDC says, first of all, there's an inconvenience. They may go there, some have to travel to the place. If they go and they are not captured that day, it means they have to go back, come back, and that can actually discourage, them from wanting to register to vote. But beyond that, identifying their polling stations may also become an issue. And I'm saying the NPP has raised this concern before. Why will it not be a concern for you today? And let me read the portion I read, where the NPP argued that one disturbing decision by the Electoral Commission, that is second respondent in that matter, was the registration of voters without assigning them any polling station. An intriguing development was the announcement to Parliament on 15th of June 2012 by the chairman of second respondent, that's the Electoral Commission, that the Electoral Commission had registered some 1 million voters who had not been assigned to any polling station. And they contended that this was contrary to Regulation 2 of the Public Elections Voters Registration 2012, which required that registration of voters be carried out in designated polling stations known for that purpose as registration centers.
Very well. Something. Good morning to your good self and my senior colleague, and to the good people of Botiano, English I'm from, and a very good morning to Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin. Supposed to have accompanied him to a funeral this morning, but for this important engagement, I'm here. I wish him well, and the team that is going with him, I wish all of them well.
Okay.
Yes. Something. I think that after the pre-laying engagement in Parliament and subsequent media engagement, it is becoming clear that almost everybody that has had a bite of this particular decision by the EC agrees that we should have a credible register, and that is the cry of all of us. That is why we've traveled a journey of bringing reforms into our electoral processes by replacing opaque ballot boxes, by replacing a voter ID without a picture, a black and white picture, to the extent that we've got into a biometric voter register. And I think that nobody, both sides of the House, agrees that we need a credible register. However, there are concerns that they've raised, and if those concerns are not addressed, myself, I'll have issues to contend with the EC. And let me remind you that when the telcos or the Ministry of Communication issued a directive to the telcos or to the Ghanaian public that a deadline was set for people to have registered their SIM card re-registration. As a vice chairman of the Communications Committee, I spoke against it, and I said that you couldn't have done that when the source document for registration, it is obvious that a number of people do not possess the Ghana card, to the extent that the NIA at that
time, some of them, even though they have registered.
They have registered, they have not been issued their cards, to the extent that the NIA itself had said that their operations is not based on a deadline that could give all the cards to the Ghanaian public to be able to go and register. So you realize that there was no collaboration between the NIA and then the Ministry of Communication, or NCA for that matter, the implementing agency for that particular directive. So where we are, I spoke publicly against it. But in respect of this, on the face of the available data, it is obvious that what the NDC is doing is much ado about nothing.
I ask you a specific question.
Yes, specifically, I'm for a moment thinking that that particular response by the chair of the commission at the time, that over 1 million people were registered without being assigned to particular polling station, there is no evidence to back that.
Hey.
Something.
This was the MPP saying it.
No, I'm saying that he was saying so on the basis of an answer Dr. Kojo Afarijan gave at the court. And I thought that, look, seriously speaking, How would one go to vote without being assigned to a particular polling station? Look, that particular trial exposed a lot of flaws in our electoral process, and even the answers offered by the electoral commissioner. It's where I was sitting at the time. It was obvious that he was speaking from a position of a confused person.
So the question is that this is now part of the concern of the NDC today.
For me,
because the people are not registering their polling stations.
Let me take you through this, and it's a practical example, and I believe my senior is well versed in this. There's been limited registrations at the district offices of the EC over time, and let us be clear that political parties has always been partners of the EC to ensure that we have a clean and credible register. So the processes of registration, we've always been part of it. That people who are not versed in the polling station, because every electoral voter's ID card you have has a polling station code and is unique. So one where you live within your constituency, if you are not aware and you get to the polling center and they ask you, where do you live? I live at Tuba. Where do you live in Tuba? The electoral officers, they have a code to every area. So the district electoral officer and officers there, they have every constituency, every polling station code specific to where you live, and they can assign you a polling station.
So this is not a problem?
It's not a problem. We've done this over time. Look, again, I asked the NIA boss that I'm aware that when they did the nationwide registration, the mass registration, there are cards that are still with them. And I raised this specific question on the floor of the House with respect to people having to travel distances to the district offices to register. And if for a reason they don't have money to come, because some districts you need to sleep over. It is not like Accra. There's districts in Ghana. A specific example is the Lembele, because my friend Bozuke has been a candidate for the MPP for 3 times. I've been there before, and I know most part of this country. There are district capitals that you need to take 2-3 cars to access the district capital. So if you get there and there's a problem, what it means is that you have to go back. And if you are not able to register, perhaps it maybe cost you about 200 Ghana cedi, and you don't have 200 cedi. Or some district capital can only be accessed by market days, once in the week. So these are operational and practical problems. Then I asked the question, I asked the NIA boss, and he said, look, that is why the registration will not, if there's an ample evidence that people could be disenfranchised by reason of distance, the EC is prepared to move in there, or the NIA is prepared to move in there. I was on the show with Adaklu MP on a couple of platforms, and these concerns of cards that are still with the EC that have not been distributed, we asked it, and they explained. Looking at the data available before us, look, the 15 years and above eligible to be registered or captured by the NIA, 17 million plus of them have been registered. 16.9 million people are supposed to be on our voter register. The 17 million registered that we have, over 10 million of them are already in the possession of a Ghana card. They use Ghana card as a source document to register. So what is the point now? Per the calculation of the EC, or the 2021 population and housing census, 31 million Ghanaians, we are estimating to have 2.5 million Ghanaians to be captured. And this includes even people 15 years and above. It is not all of them that will be eligible. If they are captured today, that will be eligible to vote in the 2024 elections. My daughter is 17, and she's already in possession of a voter's ID card. I'm waiting to be 18 and she go and register.
You mean national ID card?
The NIA card. Yes. My daughter is already in possession of the national NIA card. So she's just waiting to be 18. She goes to the district office and go and do her registration. So 2.5 million Ghanaians. What our opponent or our brothers from the other side, their worry, it's about the ability of NIA to capture 2.5 or let's say 3 million Ghanaians.
It's actually in excess of 3 million.
In excess of 3 million. Let's assume that it's even
3.6 or so.
3.6 or let's say 4 million Ghanaians. Between now and then October 2024, is the NIA able to do so or not? The NIA has demonstrated clearly that they will be able to do that. Unless there's an ample evidence to suggest they don't have capacity to do this.
When we say in excess of 3 million,
yes,
we are not referring to people who have not yet been captured. some have been captured, but they don't have their cards
Fantastic.
yet.
Yes.
That's why the number comes
Yes,
to.
the outstanding that are yet to be issued cards, we're told that 11 days, they will print all those cards. If the monies had hit the account, as requested, 100 million cedis has already been advanced to them. That's a laudable idea. In fact, when this...
You're not concerned that some of them, their cards had been ready or so, but for so many months, they remain with the NIA.
Yes, I'm concerned. And that's a specific question I asked the NIA boss, that you still have cards in your possession. Then he said, look, they are taking steps. Because you see, at the district office, when they did the mass registration, all the staff they used were temporary staff. And they had finished their exercise. Now they have 4 staff per district. So if they have to go to the polling stations again and deliver the cards, so now they can aggregate the card per district by district. And then per their address, we can assist them to distribute these cards to the people.
Okay.
That is what I think they should be doing. So I'm looking at the cleaner register that everybody will trust the process. Because look, if I go to my district office, I need not to put an agent there for the process of registration as we've been doing. There's been chaos. This guarantor system, there's been chaos. And fight after fight and all that we all witness every day. So when I go to my district office and there's a registration, maybe every month I go there. How many people have you registered? And you even see that on the EC website. Then you can demand for the source document and the proof of registration. It makes it easier.
Okay.
But where you are resorting to the guarantor system, it is beset with a lot of fraud. That in the last registration, over 40,000 names had to be expunged. And you realize in 2008, somebody won election with a little under 40,000. That is a huge basis for contesting an election results in this country. So I believe that, look, if people have genuine concerns about ability of the NIA, we've been assured enough that the NIA will have its funds to be able to deliver the cards on time. And mind you, we are not going to do a fresh registration to say that we'll have a problem. We are going to do a continuous registration. And this continuous registration will cure the fear of being disenfranchised if you turn 18. And my senior Imani, Kofi Bentel, said that even the day before elections, a day before election, that Article 48 they are quoting, and Article 51 also enjoins the EC to make regulations for every public elections. So we should not make it...
Kofi understands that, but he is talking about what is possible.
Yes.
That as a country, we should be able to get to that kind of ideal, where this thing is a seamless process. Once you turn 18, it doesn't matter. It's a day before election. You could just go register and,
Well, for what he's saying, that you don't even need to register at all. You have your Ghana card, you go and vote. But mind you, the Ghana card don't have some features the electoral register has. Constituency, electoral area, your polling station. It doesn't have. The Ghana card don't have it. All the Ghana card is seeking to do, the EC is seeking to do with the Ghana card.
So maybe in future we should get there.
Yes, if you are there, that's fine. So
okay.
For that reason,
all right.
I will not buy the argument that we don't need regulations for purposes of elections.
Right.
And I think that the continuous registration will cure a lot of mischief.
Okay.
And then the political parties, we can all help in the process.
But that's the question I asked. Continuous registration. The law that created continuous registration, which year was it? Is it 2016?
2016. 2016.
It created continuous registration.
I agreed with Harold.
We are in 2023. We haven't implemented continuous registration.
Yes, but you see, when you want to do continuous registration, you look at operationalization of it and the documents you require to do continuous registration. What it means is that political parties, I remember the political parties were making all this argument that we have to be present there because we don't trust, because somebody is doing a guarantor system.
Okay.
I don't trust somebody could bust people. And the experience of expunging 40,000 people indicated that foreigners and minors were bused to the station.